everybody, Justin Worden, you're watching What's New in Electronics. I am here at SMTA International in Chicago with my good friend and mentor, Don Dennison. Don, how are you?
Great, Justin. How are you doing?
I'm great. And you know why? Because I watched you get another award.
Thank you.
Is that three-peat?
It's a three-peat.
Three-peat for Rep of the Year?
Yep.
For a global SMT, man. What do you really credit all that to?
Getting up out of bed in the morning and going to work and visiting my customers and keeping them happy despite all of the nonsense going on in the world.
You know, it's funny, it really is that simple. You know, in the rep and the sales industry, sometimes we put all the effort into getting that first sale, but we forget that after you get the first sale, other people are trying to get that business from them as well. And I think that's one thing that is really, I've learned from you, and I think a lot of people recognize with Don Dennison is he's always going to be there.
Yeah, and you can't forget about after you get the sale that you have to keep in touch with these people because they want to know that you care, you know, and if you don't care about their business and you don't care about them making money, they realize it and then they find somebody else that will care.
Absolutely, and you know, outside repping or distributing or sales, whatever title you want to put on it, it's unfortunately a dying career. You know, the young people of today, I might be like the last generation of people that want to get up there and go door knock and go visit people in person and actually try to earn that business. So no one nowadays is really getting that attention anymore. Even people that have been doing it for a long time, it's now Zoom calls and phone calls or text messages.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because this morning I met a new customer from out here in Detroit, and he said the same thing. He goes, the shows are always the same, but what's important is I get to meet people like you and network and talk. He says, I didn't come here to see the new equipment because it's always the same equipment most of the time, even though there are new pieces of equipment. And you have to come out to the shows and meet in person and talk to people.
Absolutely. And you know, Don, I'd love to sit up here and just talk about how awesome you are and all the great work you've done, but I think we've done enough of that. But you and I also play big roles in the SMTA, and that's a great transition about how important it is to come out and just be able to spend time. I mean, all the work you and I have done together the last 5 years, I still look forward to just being able to get together and chop it up.
Absolutely. The SMTA's done real well with me, my local chapter in Long Island. I'm out here to represent them this year, and it's been fun. Our chapter's growing, as I'm sure the Austin chapter's been growing, and that's what it's all about. You know, I was part of the New Jersey chapter at one point, and it took a lot of work, and you have to put in the effort, and it's all volunteer work. So
yeah, of course, but a real good common theme that continues to come up when we talk about the value of the SMTA and these different shows and being out here in person is that not only are we networking, building relationships and all that, but we're troubleshooting. And so many times we all are facing the same challenges, whether it's in the workplace or on a technical side of things. Coming together like this, we can really start to solve those problems.
Sure, and by talking to each other, you may have experiences that I haven't, and again, from my side, I can share with you customers that I visit and work through their problems as well. So that's what makes it great.
All right, Don, so what's next, man? You got three-peat. Are you coming back for a fourth?
I'm not thinking about that. I have a new project that I'm working on now that I haven't shared with you.
Are we allowed to talk about it, or
we can talk about it
now, or when the cameras are off?
We can talk about it now.
All right, go ahead. I'll start asking questions.
I'm hoping that by Apex I have a finished product to bring to the West Coast, and it's a laser that actually puts marks on boards and QR codes, and it works really well, and it's affordable. My customers have had problems with putting labels on boards. They're tired of putting them on by hand. So I'm going to try to incorporate a piece of equipment into process in line that is affordable and that people can use to identify their boards and track through the whole process.
Yeah, and when you talk about labeling, putting it on is half the battle. The other half is hoping it stays on.
Hoping it stays on and hoping that, you know, at some point I don't have to use my feeder locations on my pick and place machine. So I've been listening and watching for about the last 5 years, and I think there's a real need for this, and we're going to try and make it happen.
So with this particular solution, or this laser, that sounds funny, what about like the onboarding of the process? I mean, to me, seems a little bit of a complicated process. I mean, is there going to be training, resources? How's that going to go?
So the training is going to be involved with it, absolutely. And this piece of equipment is going to be able to be used offline or inline. But I think the fact that it's going to be affordable to everyone, my small contract manufacturers, my tier 1 accounts, all have a need for this. So we'll see how it works, but looking forward to it.
I know you're still working on the project, bringing it over here to the West Coast. Is this something that people can start inquiring about now?
Yeah, I've actually got a few orders already, so I'm excited. Yeah, we're going to put it through its paces.
Thank you so much.
Yep.